Hey, what's going on, guys? Justin Fuller, ex-Honda salesman, and in roughly the next 3 minutes, I'm going to tell you all about the 2024 Honda CRV Sport-L Hybrid, how it stacks with other makes and models out there in the world, and of course, what's different from 2023. So let's go. So in the 2024 Honda CRV Sport-L Hybrid, you have a 2-liter engine putting out 204 horsepower. So it's running off of 2 motors because it is a hybrid vehicle, right? Now, if you drop down to an EXL or any of those other non-hybrid versions, you're going to get 190 horsepower. But I want to throw a comparison up on the screen so you can understand how does the 204 horsepower on this car stack up to other makes and models out there in the world. While that's up on the screen, I'll just remind you, if you drop down to a 2023 model, it is the exact same, whether you're in a hybrid or non-hybrid, has the same engine, same transmission, all of that setup is going to be identical. Right now, let's talk about miles per gallon. This car gets 43 in the city and 36 on the highway. That is pretty kick-ass gas mileage. I want to throw something up so you can see how does that stack up against other makes and models out there in the world. While that's up, I'll just remind you the 2023 is going to be the exact same. But if you want to jump to a non-hybrid version of this car, you would be getting 28 in the city and 34 on the highway. Now, mind you, these are all 2-wheel drive versions I'm talking about. If you jump into an all-wheel drive version, it is going to differ by a couple miles per gallon. So there's something to be aware of depending on the part of the country that may be important to you. All right, guys, so let's talk about the front row of this vehicle. So in the front row of this vehicle, you've got 41.3 inches of leg space. So that is quite a bit of space. I could be 6'5" and still have plenty of space, and I can spread my legs out because the center console is pretty narrow in this vehicle. So kind of nice to know that you're gonna be comfortable with this. But I'm gonna throw something up on the screen so you can understand how does the 41.3 inches of leg space stack up against other makes and models out there in the world. While that's up, I'll just remind you, if you're in a 2023 model, it's not gonna make a difference. It is gonna be the exact same. Even a 2022 or 21, all same leg space when it comes to that. Now, after you looked at that, let's talk about the second row. In the second row of this vehicle, you saw the picture earlier, or the video, I should say, I had plenty of space sitting behind me with the seat pushed all the way back. You've got 41 inches of leg space in this second row of this vehicle. So I'm gonna throw a comparison up on the screen so you can take a look and see how this stacks up against other makes and models out there in the world. While that's up on the screen, I'll just remind you, if you drop down to the 2023, there is gonna be a difference there. It's 40.4 inches of leg space in the 23. So 0.6 inches, you know, whatever, not a ton, but just be aware that it exists, right? Now, after you've taken a look at that, let's talk about the 2 versions of cargo space that you have available to you. So if you have the seats folded up, much like I do right now, you've got 39.3 cubic feet of cargo space. So I'm gonna throw a comparison up, check out how it stacks up against other makes and models out there in the world. While it's up, I'll just remind you that if you jump to a 23, makes absolutely no difference. It's gonna be the exact same as far as the cargo space. Now, when you fold those seats down, you now have 76.5 cubic feet of cargo space in the vehicle. So I'm gonna throw that comparison up so you can see how that stacks up against other makes and models out there in the world. While that's up, I'll just remind you 2 things. One, obviously the 2023, the exact same. And then secondarily, it does have that hump now, right? Where if you went back a few years, you wouldn't have that. So just something to be aware of if that's important to you because you're going to be camping, or you're going to, sleep back there, or you're going to throw bikes back there, or maybe you're going to throw some, some gear for audio, right? Maybe you're in a band and you want to throw stuff back there. Be aware that it's not flat, so you may have to work with that and just something to deal with, right? After you've taken a look at that, let's talk about 0 to 60 times. This car goes from 0 to 60 in 7.6 seconds. It is blazing fast. And by blazing fast, I mean, it'll get you down the road, right? It's not incredibly fast, but it's got enough get up to get you on the highway and do all the normal things that you want to do. If you went to a non-hybrid version, you'd be at 8.3 seconds. So just understand there is a difference between the hybrid version, which actually has more horsepower and more get up and go, than the non-hybrid version. I'll throw a comparison up so you see how that 7.6 seconds stacks up to other makes and models out there in the world. While it's up, I'll just remind you, 23 makes no difference. Same engine, same transmission, same speeds, all of that stuff is going to be the same when it relates to this vehicle. Now, something super important that may matter to you is something I talked about earlier, and that's, hey, if I'm in this trim level, I'm in the Sport-L Hybrid, right? This exists in the 24, but not in the 23. But I'm thinking maybe I want to jump all the way up to the touring, right? Maybe I want every bell, every whistle. 2 things. 1, how much extra money is that going to cost me? And then 2, what is the list of items that's going to give me by spending that extra money to go up to that touring? And then the second part is, hey, if I drop down to the model right below, it's the EXL, right? A non-hybrid version. 1, how much money is it going to save me? And then 2, is it going to change the list of items that I really get or don't get other than being a non-hybrid, right? And then the last one is if I go from the Sport-L Hybrid, jump down 2 models so I can stay in a hybrid, right? How much money is that going to save me? But what is that list of items that I'm going to give up to do so? So before we get out of here, I want to ask you for a couple favors. 1, I hope you'll press that like button because you like the way I'm doing this and you like the way I present the content. 2nd, I hope you'll leave a comment. If you feel like I left something out, if you feel like you would like me to answer something, or there's something you'd like me to review, please do let me know. I'm always here to help answer your questions, and so is everyone else. I find that a lot of people will help answer questions as well. 3rd, I hope you'll subscribe to the channel so that you will receive videos and alerts on videos like this when I present them. And then 4th, hey, man, I hope to just share the video. If you got some friends who are shopping for SUVs, this one's actually a pretty good one. It gets good gas mileage, it does a lot of things really well and competes, as you saw in all the comparisons I threw out. So I hope to just share this video with them so that they can get the content as well. Other than that, like, comment, subscribe. Later, guys!